dedicate this video to all the black men out there that care enough to think and listen and not get all emotional and been out of shape when a man opens his mouth to speak words of wisdom, power, and knowledge. And I would just have to say that the black woman has a lot to do with the way most of these men have acted over the years. And I, for one, have to say that we just got to get it together, brothers. It's just that simple. We can talk about each other, call each other the Negroes, call each other's, shines and what's the other word? Bojangle and all of this, but it's not going to bring any real action to the game of life. If we're going to get our game together, we got to think. Now, some of you brothers want to sit here and talk garbage about that God of the Bible. I got a problem with that. Because you know what? If you brothers had half a brain to open that thing up and read it and do what it says, half of the problems in the black community would not even be around. And you know what? You need to thank that white boy for leaving that book around in your neighborhood, because you know what? You guys would be really worse off than you are now for the few people that do read that thing and pray for you and talk to you from time to time to try to talk some sense into you. Because I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Where in that book does it tell the man that he can fornicate and have sex with women and leave it up to Big Daddy Obama to pick up the tab? Yeah, that's what we call him out here in the neighborhood. We call him Daddy Obama. For the brothers that got jobs and working, and he sees all these little, twerking females running around here, having babies, getting on that GR, getting on that AFDC, all that's thanks to Daddy Obama. But y'all don't want to pay no attention to that guy in the Bible. He tells you to work. If a man doesn't work, he shouldn't be fit to eat. But I sure see a whole long line of you Negroes rolling up there at that Social Security office, rolling up there at the county office, getting your GR checks and running straight over there to that liquor store. And you know another thing? Tell me where in the Bible that it tells a man that he could drink to get drunk. I think the last time I read in a book, it told a man that he needs to be sober and be honest in all his dealings. But I see brothers selling dope. Selling drugs in the community is against the law. So where does that come out in the Bible? Because I'm looking at that white boy out there too. He don't seem to be following that book either. Because if he was following that book, half the stuff that goes on in the black community that he set up to happen in the black community would be taking place. So I just ask this, you brothers that want to call each other niggas and shines and bojangles and ignorant apes, I just say, man, you look in the mirror. Because you know what? The very Negro that you looking at that's looking back at you in that son of a gun mirror is the same Negro that they see walking up and down the street. And I tell you, these cops, they don't seem to be able to distinguish you from anybody else, because I've heard a lot of stories, and I got one I could tell myself. Just walking my dang dog down the street. I got a little miniature pincher, God rest his soul, he's gone now. I'm just walking my dog, and I lived in a nice neighborhood back in the day, out there in the, what they call it? The suburbs. Yeah, I had me a nice little spot in the suburbs on 3/4 acre of real estate plot there. 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath house, 2.5 car garage. And all of it was mine, and I enjoyed it. That made no difference. I'm walking in the neighborhood with my dog. We ain't bothering nobody, and here it is, the police come up, and they jam me up like I stole something. So I let that story sink in y'all brothers' heads for a little bit. You know what? I know some other brothers that didn't get treated so nicely as I did. They just threw my black butt in the car and hauled me back to my house. Some of my partners, they got thrown in the back of the squad car, taken to a nice little location, and get a little once over, get a little what they call stick time. They don't even have sticks no more because somebody had sense enough to get them an attorney and ask enough questions of where they settle this game out of the court. So anyway, I just tell you, you Negroes got a lot of game to get together, and y'all need to stop playing this blame game, man, and start taking responsibility. Because you know what? Ain't nothing gonna change till you brothers change the way you think. Because the way y'all are thinking, y'all ain't changing. Nothing, y'all ain't changing. I was about to go back to my worldly cursing, but thanks be to God, He's keeping me straight. Because you know what? I'll just tell you straight up. My wife is getting it together. But you know what? She didn't know which way to go, which way to turn, or what to do. So God took me in the corner and said, you listen here, son. You got to get your game in order. Once you get your game in order, she ain't going to have no choice but to follow you because you're going to have it so wrapped so tight, she's going to be scared to go somewhere else. Because she knows what's out there. She knows the kind of men that are out there. And you used to be just like them. So you get your game together and you see she's going to line up, she's going to fly straight. Especially if she got any kind of sense. And if she don't, cut her butt loose. She don't want to do what God has commanded you to do. But that's going to be on her conscience. That's going to be on her. When you get your game in order, you get that new replacement. You all got your stuff swinging and rolling in the right direction. And she's out there still looking, acting all ignorant and stupid, wondering what happened. Why couldn't that have been me? Why couldn't I have been successful with that man? You know why? Because you were so foul and rotten, you didn't even think to realize that, hey, you can't be Cinderella, rolling with this guy who ain't nowhere near Prince Charming. He ain't got his game together. You ain't got your game together. How is that going to work? Two negatives don't add up to a positive. Two negatives add up to be a more negative situation. So somebody's got to get their game in order. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. And you know what? If my wife decides to come and follow with me, hey, that's all good. Because that's what it was all meant to be in the first place. But if she chose not to, hey, man, listen here, young lady. No disrespect to you, but your program just ain't lining with my program. And I just assume be on my way because obviously people won't change unless they want to change. And I'm not in the game trying to change nobody because you know what? It took a whole lot of strength changing myself and that power didn't come of my own. I had to read that word. I had to pray to God. I had to start thinking. And He poured His Spirit in me and got me right. So for these brothers that continue to make these movies, they got brothers, little monkey dolls in cages. You thumbing your finger at the monkey in the cage and, scolding the monkey. And the monkey, he's representing the average Negro out there. I have to give you props, my brother, Akwasi. Because you know what? You told these Negroes what they needed to hear, but they didn't want to hear it too well. But the only problem with that program that you spitting out on your channel is that you didn't give the brother nothing in which to hang his hat on in terms of, I'm going to ride out of this game. How do I ride out of this game? What do I got to do to get up out of this problem that I see? So I just tell you brothers, y'all need to revisit that book one more time. Because you know what? I don't think in the last 50 years I've yet to see too many brothers. I haven't seen too many brothers honestly follow through and take a full swing in that Bible. When things get tough and the woman don't want to go in with the game, they give it up. They give it up. They start calling her a hoe and bitches and, she don't want to act right. And I tell you, man, I've known my wife for 25 plus years. And I just tell you, man, we just getting this game in order. And I mean, I'm telling you, just from my own experience, it was the better part of those 25 years that we weren't really doing much of anything but just arguing and fighting, and we wasn't arguing and fighting. We wasn't talking. Every now and then she'd want to, have a little fun with me, and every now and then I'd have a little fun with her. But after that was over, which only took but maybe a few minutes, I ain't bragging and I ain't shaming myself and telling the truth. It just got to a point where I just had to let it go. And I ain't talking about my woman. I had to let it go. I had to let go the way I thought about things. And that was the key to get me on the right path. Because you know what? That Messiah that's in that New Testament, he speaks and he says, broad and wide is the way that lead to destruction, and many there be found therein. But narrow, straight is the way that leads to eternal life, and there be few found therein. So I'm not waiting for you to get to heaven to see this, reward, this blessing that I have been promised by God and his Messiah. He's already manifested it in my life right now. My business is doing really well. I'm about to blow this thing up. And I'm going to keep making videos so y'all can see how things are going to progress. Yes, I'm going to continue my Bible studies. And I'm also going to be making a couple of videos from time to time when I show you some of these beautiful, illustrious construction projects God seems to keep bringing my way. I got a 7-house project out in Silver Lake, California, and we're about to do a 14-house project out in the valley. And I got some other game going on in San Diego. I just can't wait to get to that one. But all these people talking about the economy ain't no good, brothers can't find no job. Ain't nobody come knock on my door to ask me, hey brother, how things going? The God of the Bible, he promised me he's going to pour out a blessing so great that I'm not going to have room to catch it if I just start doing what he told me to do. He's been true to his word. And this is what I tell you, brothers. You guys have been lied to. Y'all have been deceived. And the very thing that can save you has been right underneath your nose. And you know what? That devil of a white man, he put it there, knowing damn well you're going to be so busy looking at him, you don't have time to focus on that book. So let's get it together, brothers. Otherwise, David Carroll, Crazy 100, they're going to keep digging in y'all behind till y'all finally get it, tired of hearing these folks' mouth. I'm tired of hearing these brothers talk about y'all. Because they talking about us. They ain't just talking about us. They talking about themselves as well. And it's kind of a dumb thing to do for a brother. I really expected a white boy to be making these monkey cage videos with the doll in the cage. And, I expected to see a white boy with a cigar in his mouth, sunglasses on his head, talking how ignorant these Negroes are in the black community. But you know what? That just shows you how far down in the hole we've gone. And you know what? It's kind of funny. David Carroll got a video series called Down the Rabbit Hole. I guess he likes going down and down and down and down. Because he said he's like 30 videos in. Well, David, man, when you going to start looking up, see if there's some daylight? Because you know what? The deeper in the hole you get, the darker it gets. I'm tired of being in the hole of darkness, man. There's this light. Let's call that Bible. Let's start picking it up. Because you know what? That God of the Bible, he promises. If you think, and you think clearly, and do what he says to do, he promises a blessing for all of you. So, with that, I depart. Peace to all you Negroes, and may God continue to give us grace.